Just yesterday, I was on a strategy call with a client of ours. We've been working together for a little bit over a year now, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with this founder. Alex, if you're watching this, man, I appreciate you. And Alex came into this call and almost confused. He looked at me and he was like, Leon, I love your insight on something. I've been lost in terms of what should my next business move be, and I'd love your opinion. And the situation that Alex is in, which is a very interesting position to be in, not a lot of people find themselves in one like this, is he is the number one project, and in terms of market share and in terms of revenue, on an entire chain. He dominates one of the coin market cap's top 25 tokens. So it's not like he's dominating Ethereum or Solana, but it's not like he's in the top 1,000 chains that get no volume. So he's in that middle ground where he has enough volume to have a successful business, great revenue. But then he tells me, he's like, man, I want to continue growing. I want to continue scaling. I've been trying all these new chains. I've been trying to create products for this new chain that is coming out, and they have all this volume. And then there's this other chain. Then I spent all this money on these new products and on this marketing. But every time I start to win a little bit, the chain cuts me off because they want products that are native to the chain and they don't want products that are multi-chain. So I hear him out, and then I end up sharing something with him that I saw in his eyes shocked him, because I gave him a perspective that he had not thought about before that turned out to be a very important variable to take in consideration. And that's what I wanted to share with you in today's video. This is really one of these videos that I wanted to shoot because I know that a lot of times the conversations that I have and the experiences that I live, you can benefit from. And if you're a founder, I think this conversation is going to be very valuable to you, because it becomes very important as founders to understand how do we allocate risk in the second half of this bull market, which could be over in the next coming month. Who knows? By the way, I'm Leon Aboud, founder and CEO at Unfungible. I make these videos for you for free because I want you to crush it with your crypto and Web3 product. I want to see you grow, and I need your help in shaping the future of this industry. And my hope is that you grow your project to a point where you can come to us, apply on the website, and try to see how we can work together to continue growing your reach and impact in the space. Now, going back to the founder I was speaking with, his goals are to continue growing his business, and he had two ways of doing so. The first one is to replicate his product and make his product multi-chain to break into these new chains. The second path that he had is to double down on the existing chain that he was on and try to take up more market share. The con with this is that you start having chain dependency and chain risk. Because what if that chain disappears tomorrow? What if it just gets hacked? You lose your business overnight. So these are the variables that he was considering, which were very relevant variables. But then I was thinking of this, and he told me that he spent like close to $100,000 to break into this new chain. And although it was profitable for a little bit, he never could get the traction because that chain ended up creating this similar product natively. And then he tried doing it there, and then although he was getting support, the chain wanted products that are native. So it was getting costly for him to have all these experiments going. So I look at him. I'm like, Alex, I completely get you. I know what it's like as an entrepreneur to always have the need and desire to grow, scale, do new things, roll out new products, break into new chains, set new record days and months. I completely get this. But here's how I'm thinking about this with the current stage of the market that we are in. We are closer to the end of the bull market than we are to the beginning of it. This is a fact. The smartest people I know all say that the bull market is over anywhere between the next 3 months to the next 6 months. It could be 9 months, it could be a year. Some people say it's going to go all the way into 2026, but 2026 is only 3 months away from now. So we are close to the end of the bull market. And as CEOs, you and I, Alex, our number one responsibility in the business is to make sure that the business can survive in the long term. And the way we do this is by planning and having cash reserves that are going to allow us to survive the impeding bear market, because it is going to come. We don't know how brutal it is going to be. And one thing for sure is that the team that we have are not going to want to sit around work voluntarily in a project. There are salaries that are going to need to be paid. Even in the bear market, you're going to have costs to maintain your product, develop new things, try new stuff. So now, in this stage of the market, it is the time to reap the rewards of the risks that you took during the bear market. I told them that the time to take big risks, big swings that have high probabilities of failing, but if they succeed could win big, these are the types of bets that you take leading into the bull market or in the very first half of it. This was 2024 for us. In the later stage of the bull market, it is time to prioritize cash. It is time to prioritize revenue. So when I started sharing this with him, I look at his face and I can see him being like, I could see that he realized something that I had not shared with him before. And then I share with him that although you could potentially unlock these new chains that are coming up and become number one in these chains, the thing is you never know what is going to happen to these chains a month or two after they launch. And statistically, most chains will lose traction and will lose volume. So you already are in a position where you are number one on a chain and you're trying to become number one on another chain that is risky and you don't know if it's going to succeed post-launch and you don't even know if it's going to be around in the bear. So I told them, I was like, if I was you, and you make your own decision, but if I was you, I would double down on what works and I would try to take my market share from this percent to that percent. I would try to see how can I double my market share? How can I become the number one uncontested participant in my entire market? Although it's small, there's a lot more that you could do. And you will have to pivot either way because during the bear market, you are going to have to experiment with new business models. Your current business model will not be the same one that will work in 3 years from now. You will have to pivot. Mine as well today, we reap the fruits of our rewards and then go for the higher risk bets during the bear market or leading into the next bull. And here's the reality, and I'm speaking to you right now. I see this again and again, and that's because I make business-related content in Web3. All founders that have something that works, they have product market fit, but then they get distracted looking for that next thing, that next opportunity, that next project. Ooh, I have a service industry, but I want to build a SaaS because SaaS have these 7-figure valuations just off the gate. But I don't know how to code, so I'm going to learn. I'm going to hire someone. And the reality is, now is no longer the time to take expensive and risky bets. Now is the time to double in on what already works. The time to do this was in 2023 and 2024. Today, whatever you do, whatever already works, whether you have you have a product that is generating you 7-figure in profit per month, or whether you are a ghostwriter and are making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 per month. Whatever you're doing right now, if you have product market fit, you double down. You do more and better at what you're doing. The time to do new was in the past. The only exception to this is if you're someone that has no product market fit. So you're still finding your product market fit. I would move with urgency and I would try to think, okay, like how do I actually use business models that are proven? How do I use what is proven? How do I apply a skill that will position me uniquely in the marketplace? But no more playing, no more juggling stuff. Time is running out, ladies and gentlemen. We no longer have a year and a half in this bull market. It is coming to an end soon. And this is something that I've had to learn the hard way as well. I remember in the beginning of the 2022 bull market, before I started on Fungible, I remember, I had made some money back in my e-commerce days and I came into crypto. I started doing marketing for some projects, friends, connections that I had from Montreal. So I worked on a couple projects, made a couple of 5 figures. And then what I did at the beginning of the bear market, I decided to build an art marketplace. So I've never shared this before, but I ended up building an art marketplace. It was called 7th Floor. I love the name. And we paid $30,000. My previous business partner and I paid $30,000 to a designer, a UI UX designer, and a dev to build the whole thing. $30,000 after, 2 months in, the platform wasn't working. It looked horrible. It was not built well. We had hired the wrong people. and we had no marketing in place. Like I had no audience back then to build something like this. So that's where, we looked at each other and we were like, let's cut it. Let's cut our costs. This is not the right play. So even at the beginning of the bear market, looking back, I'm glad I didn't go forward with this idea, continue investing into it, because the art marketplace has yet to pick up even 4 years after. And that's when I decided to revert back to a safer business model that didn't require a lot of investment from me, which is unfungible. And there's a lot of founders out there right now that are trying to build their own version of 7th floor. And sadly, by the time that it's done and by the time that you start marketing it, there's a high probability, no one knows, but there's a high probability that we are back in a bear market. And in a bear market, you don't know where the meta is, because there's always ways to make money in the bear market. But if I had an art marketplace, I would still be sitting right now waiting for the meta to come back. There's no volume in the art marketplace right now. You don't know what the meta is going to be. You don't know how the market is going to be. Are we going to have another Black Swan event like FTX? And frankly, there's probably better things that you'll be able to do with this money during the bear than you would leaving the bull. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video was helpful to you. I had no scripts for this. This was just something that I wanted to share because I think it is important. And I hope it was helpful to you. Let's make sure we are connected on X together at @LeonAboud_. And also I've started publishing content on Instagram as well. So make sure you follow me and let me know you came from YouTube as well. We'll make sure to follow back. Cool. See you soon. Bye-bye.